The consumer confidence numbers came out again, and they're down again. Before they were at a 2-year low, now they're at a 12-year low. They're plummeting. It fell 7.2 points in March to 92.9, which is below analyst expectations of 94.5. So again, it's plummeting, and it's plummeting faster than people expected to. Are we winning yet? Are we winning yet? Are we winning yet? Oh, man. The business group found that the measure of American short-term expectations for income, business, and the job market fell 9.6 points to 65.2. Let me get that chart on. Hold on. Here we go. Present situation and expectations index. Present situation, expectations index right there. Look at that. We are going down, man. We're now further down than the lowest point we hit during the Biden term inflation. Can you explain that for normies with no financial education? A recession is defined by a persistent decrease in economic output, or GDP, broadly speaking. The consumer confidence essentially indicates how good people feel about the economy. The better people feel about the economy, the more they spend. The worse they feel about the economy, the more likely they are to save money, to not spend, to be frugal, just generally to be pessimistic, you know? So lowered confidence here indicates lowered spending. Lowered consumer spending means a lower GDP. Lower GDP means recession. It's not good. Lower than COVID. How? Yeah. Oh, we're well below the COVID period. Now, in order to reach the consumer expectations index point we're at this, we got to go all the way back to 2013. And even that was a dip. A little bit farther down, we're going to go all the way back to the 2008 financial crisis and everything after it. Expectations 6 months hence. Consumers' outlook for business conditions worsened in March. 17.1% of consumers expected business conditions to improve. 27.3% expected business conditions to worsen. Outlook for the labor market deteriorated. Is this good for accelerationists? Yes. More pessimistic about their income prospects. Again, keep in mind, Trump did primarily run on the economy, and voters have always been irrationally deferential to Republicans when it comes to economic outcomes. So for only 16.3% of consumers to expect their incomes to increase over the next 6 months, whew, dog, look at that. Look at how consistent these lines were. The black line is how many people think their expected financial situation is going to get worse. The blue line is how many think it's going to get better. And after Trump won the election, people thought it was going to get better. But then, even before the inauguration, we've completely wiped out that confidence. And people who think it's getting worse, it's going up. Perceived likelihood of recession is going up. Democracy is for the people, by the people, but the people. Yep, you know it. The cutoff date for the preliminary results was March 19th. And soon we're going to be getting the quarterly. The quarterly is on the 1st, right? Advance estimate for the GDP for the first quarter of 2025 is expected to be released. No, April 30th, not April 1st. Why did I think it was April 1st? April 1st is the start of quarter 2. Yeah, okay, that's right. They don't get the information out there until a little after the first quarter concludes. Yeah, they wouldn't have that info ready. Thank you. You were saying you don't think Donald's calling the shots. Is this tariff thing something fed to him then, or does his special interest in tariffs just align with everyone else's desire to blow up the economy? I think that Trump does genuinely, personally like tariffs because they make him feel like a big threatening businessman who's doing wheeling and dealing. But I think that the hyperfixation on tariffs across the board to everyone, in spite of how damaging they have been and will continue to be, is largely being orchestrated by the oligarchs because they want to manufacture a recession. And they want a recession because oligarchs aren't really negatively affected by recessions, like at all. Your life isn't affected negatively if you go from being worth 200 billion to 100 billion, but it does mean you can scoop up a bunch of liquidated businesses, and when the economy inevitably bounces back, you own more. I'll ask you folks, which would you rather be? Like, if you were evil, if you were incredibly evil, would you rather be a top-ranking Soviet official presiding over a more or less functioning Soviet economy, or an oligarch that controls 14% of the dilapidated post-Soviet breakup economy, like in Russia, like the post-Soviet Russian oligarch? If you're evil and you just want power, you want the later one. You've got responsibilities in the former. Though in the former, you might preside over and have power over a more functioning country, but in the latter, you have like totally unfettered power. The population is uneducated, subservient to state propaganda. You know, you can do whatever you want. If oligarchs want recession and accelerationists want recession, what's the game plan then for us? Learn how to cook lentil-based recipes, mostly. Yeah, it's basically democracy versus feudalism. You are correct. I'm just curious about the organization of it, since it'd be very convenient if he just wanted to do tariffs because he thinks they're neat. They just happen to align with his backers' desire to ruin everything. It's not really that convenient. It overlaps pretty well. Like, there are a million ways to destabilize an economy. This is one of them. Just run with that, you know? Run with things that already align. They're already doing that with everything else, right? Cracking down on civil dissent is of interest both to Trump and the oligarchs. Cracking down on immigration, you know, there are a bunch of overlaps between the things that authoritarian populists want and what authoritarian feudalist oligarchs want. Basically, like it's pretty much like 90% overlap between these two. Can you recap what tariffs happened and which are happening? No one on Earth actually knows which tariffs are in play right now. Sorry. Every day before engaging in their business dealings, people on Wall Street, they go to a local fortune teller and they try to divine through tea leaves like which tariffs are actually in effect. I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Any chance Trump will start acting more panicky when the recession hits because he thinks his plans are good? No, there's no chance of that happening. He doesn't care. Also, he said before he wants to devalue U.S. currency. Why devalue it? We've talked about this before. It's a very complicated subject, but he has said that he does not want the U.S. dollar to be the world reserve currency. He wants to devalue it. I also don't want the USD to be the global reserve currency, but I don't want to approach this the same way that he has. Stock market seems to be taking all this shockingly well. That's because they don't think it's happening. The stock market, like in aggregate, is owned by lots and lots and lots of people, like all the assets on there, and most of them have no idea what's going on. The idea that the upper class, the bourgeoisie, are aware of all of this, absolutely not. In fact, if you keep appraised of it, if you watch like Fox Business or if you take a look at op-eds or whatever, there are so many business leaders right now who are basically still going, hey, he's not actually going to do the reciprocal tariffs, right? Like I know we thought the tariffs on Canada and Mexico and the steel and aluminum tariffs and the lumber tariffs were a bad idea, but he's not going to go forward with the reciprocal tariffs, right? That'd be really bad, right? Like they don't know. You can't trust them to be a good indicator for like the likelihood of an administration plan going through. Is the USD going to crash when reciprocal tariffs hit? Probably not crash. It's complicated. The valuation of a currency is very complicated. Consumers' optimism about future income, which has held up quite strongly in the past few months, largely vanished, suggesting worries about the economy and labor market have started to spread into consumers' assessments of their personal situation, said Stéphanie Couchard, senior economist at the Conference Board. The administration of Trump has largely played down the souring mood among Americans, saying it doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening in the actual economy. This argument is similar to what officials in Joe Biden's administration said as high inflation suppressed consumer confidence without undermining growth. That is kind of true. You had all the Democrats who were saying like, no, the economy is fine. All of the blue check liberals on Twitter were like, listen, idiots, okay? No matter what you think, the numbers say the economy is fine. And now the Trump officials are doing literally the exact same thing. The parallel is so funny. They're doing the exact same thing. Listen, idiots, okay? The numbers say it's fine, except in this case, the numbers don't say it's fine, actually. It's getting quite a bit worse. I don't think there's been a very strong correlation between the confidence data and the actual consumer spending in recent years, Stephen Miron, the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, told CNBC on Tuesday. You go out in the street, people are going about their lives, you know, they're getting their paychecks, they're spending their paychecks, the economy is marching on ahead. Yet some of the nation's biggest retailers who have noticed a shift in consumer behavior are telling a different story. Walmart has thrived, with Americans trying to offset higher prices by seeking bargains. Late last month, however, the nation's largest retailer slashed its profit forecast for this year. Ooh, I actually didn't know that. Wait, by how much? I didn't know that. How much? 27 cents lower than analyst projections per share profit, a notable shift that sets company shares down more than 6% midday trading. Wait, 27 cents below analyst projections. What's the current share price? Walmart share profit over the next year. This number means nothing to me unless I know what the expected share profit is. I need like a percentage point difference there. 27 cents. Yeah, that's not share price, it's dividend, it's share profit. I don't know how much that normally is. I mean, it must be notable if shares went down 6% midday. Google Walmart dividend 2024? You Google it. Walmart raises dividend 9% to, oh wow, 83 cents per share. So it reached a high point at 83 cents per share, and their estimations are saying it might come in 27 cents lower. That's like a 33%. That's like a third cut. That's actually huge. That's a lot. Its expectation in February was 93 cents. Okay, so yeah, like a 30% cut there in the dividend. That's yeesh. I wish they said the percentage here, but yeah, that's pretty grim. Walmart. I mean, this is Walmart. Okay, I didn't know. That news slipped me by. I'm sorry. Okay, why do I care again? Because this reflects negative economic internal data within Walmart. They're saying that their dividend estimations are coming in way below expectations. Like, imagine you've got like a peak at 93 cents dividend, and then it crashes down by 30% in one quarter. In a single quarter, it goes down 30%. How do you think that makes Trump look? It's indicative of the company's performance. And Walmart, generally speaking, weathers recessions better than a lot of other businesses because everything there is so cheap. Yeah, good point, Thana. Walmart isn't a bubble. It's not a Silicon Valley tech bubble. It's not Tesla. You're not expecting Walmart to do this all the time, you know? Walmart's dividends, their share price, their general economic outlook isn't supposed to be swinging rapidly up and down every quarter based on like what Elon tweeted last. It's supposed to be like a reliable, bedrock, foundational American company because largely it is. It's expected to be stable. Legitimately, that framing in the article is probably intentional so people don't know what 27 cents dividends decrease means. You're probably right. The reason they don't say Walmart expected dividends slashed by 30% in one quarter is probably because the writers of these articles are aware of the fact that negative consumer confidence is kind of like a cascading effect. Like the more people read about how the economy is doing bad, the more they act as though the economy is doing bad. They don't spend, and that makes the economy bad. So it's probably deliberate, yeah, that they didn't do that. The writers didn't want to add a suicide trigger warning. Did you guys hear? I think I said that, but there was a guy who opened up the app that he uses to manage his like 401k or something, and there was a prompt that was new at the beginning of him opening it, and it was like, just so you know, remember that stock market performance varies day to day, and you know, downturns now don't necessarily mean downturns in the future. As you're watching like, you know, a 9% decrease in the value of your 401k. Over like a month. This will also affect future donos to Vosh. Nah. Anyway, its sales outlook was conservative, and Walmart does not include the potential impact of tariffs in its expectations for 2025. Ooh. Oh, sure. Listen, things are looking fine as long as you don't account for the economy in our economic forecast. Oh, the economic forecast that says things are looking bad? Well, I've got more bad news. We haven't factored in the bad part yet. Target sales and profits slipped during the crucial holiday quarter, and the company predicted there would be meaningful pressure on its profits to start the year, in part because of tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. Macy's, Best Buy, Abercrombie & Fitch, Dollar General, and others have grown cautious. Dollar General? How bad does the economy have to look for Dollar General? That Dollar General is the place that people go when they can't afford to go anywhere else. Grown cautious about their expectations for 2025, with many citing, quote, economic uncertainty. The board survey showed that purchasing plans for both homes and cars declined. However, in somewhat of a surprise given respondents' anxiety about the future, intentions to buy big-ticket items like appliances increased. Maybe, I don't know. The board said that could reflect a desire to buy before the tariffs kick in, leading to price increases. While inflation has retreated from the highs during the post-pandemic rebound, it has remained above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Just a nitpick, but dividend doesn't equal profit per share. Dividends are usually doled out from the profits per share, but some of the profit is reinvested, and some companies pay out more dividends than they profit for various reasons. All of the Walmart stuff is about profit per share, the more important metric for corporate health. Okay, so I shouldn't use dividend and profit per share interchangeably? Okay, gotcha. I had a feeling about that, but I was wrong on it. So we were looking at the dividend chart. Let me just confirm the profit per share numbers. Maybe it's not 30%. Walmart sees share profit over the next year coming in as much as 27 cents below analyst projections. Okay. And the profit per share is... Okay, sorry guys. It's not a 30% slash. It's a 10% slash. The Walmart Management Project's adjusted earning per share (EPS) is between 250 and 260 for fiscal year 2026. This is the article before this. That's still really bad. Oh, that's still bad, but it's not a 30% cut. I mix it up. Can I get like a chart on this so we can see what the dip is going to look like? Here's EPS going back to 2010. We're just going to go with this. God save me from this tangent. Trailing 12 months quarterly. Okay, the trailing 12 months. Gotcha. And it's falling 27 cents below estimations. That's a pretty significant dip then, especially since it's not even accounting for the tariffs. RIP renters, they expect an 8% rent increase. People are going to be squeezed, man. It's going to be bad. Anyway, let's get to the goddamn bigger picture. Okay? Consumers had appeared increasingly confident heading into the year-end holidays and spent generously. 1 month later, however, in January, U.S. retail sales fell sharply, though cold weather shared some of the blame. I really think this was because as soon as Trump won, the media started actually talking about the tariffs. Like, the tariffs were before mentioned as a, like, you know, hey, do you know what Trump's even talking about? Kind of thing. But after, you know, after the dust settled and the new year began, people were like, so here's what it's going to look like when everything you want to own, which is made in a foreign country or made with supplies from a foreign country, gets more expensive. Well, I guess we will see how it goes. They thought Trump would back off 100%. Oh, I think the average American just doesn't follow this stuff very much, which is a little bit disheartening, but I guess that's just how it is.